All right, everybody. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of the 2022.1 simLEGENDS series. It is round 5 tonight. We are on Monza, the 1966 road layout. So not the one with the big embankment, but still an epic, legendary road course. And we're gonna have to wait and see what everybody can put together for us. So, I am your commentator tonight at this Sas van der Westhuizen. Welcome everybody, really looking forward to this race. All the drivers over here have already shown that they've got what it takes to do incredible things with these cars and really wring their necks. In terms of tonight's schedule, let's have a quick look at some of the race info. So as I mentioned, we are on the road course layout. You'll notice some core differences there. The big chicanes are missing, so a bit more of a easier layout for these cars to manage. Those tight chicanes would have been a bit of a handful, but this is also a more historically accurate version of the track for them to be racing on. In terms of the weather, it is a nice 24 degrees Celsius. We are racing at noon with a good road temp of 29 degrees Celsius and a slight northeastern wind of 6 kilometers per hour. I can't exactly remember if that's in which direction the wind might be blowing there. We'll have to wait and see in just a bit. In terms of HLQ, this is the times that have been logged. So Richard coming out on top, showing that he's done a ton of laps. He's gone and done a 1 minute 44.7 second lap. That is actually faster, I think, these days than you can go on with a GT3 car. I might be mistaken. I can't exactly remember what the fastest lap times I've seen. But as that is blisteringly fast. Nick showing you seems to have only done about 15 laps. I'm sure he's done some extra laps. I was with him this weekend at a race that he was taking part in, so he might not have had as much prep time. And then Renier bringing in P3 for HLQ with a 1 minute 45.1. So not that Nick right now not having that much of a leg up. Speaking of Nick, he has gone through the effort of putting together a nice lap guide for us. I'm gonna play that out so that everybody can see what a fast lap looks like.
Alright, good evening everybody and welcome to round 5 here at the 2022.1 season at Sim Race SA for the Legends series. We are of course in the Maserati 250F and we are at the 1966 Monza road circuit for today, and we fly across the start finish line. This track of course extremely fast, so you will be using fairly high gear ratios, absolutely flat until just after that braking marker on the right hand side, gearing down to 4th and letting the car roll through Curva Grande and getting back on the power nice and hard, just balancing the rear end. Don't get the rear end of the car too far out, it will disturb your acceleration. Now, this little left-hander, not really a corner to be considered, but braking at those tire marks, really trying to control the car. And the first Lesmo getting on the power, managing the car. You don't want to hit the barrier on the outside, and don't change to 4th. Just roll through the second Lesmo and get a good exit. Very critical to get a good exit from the second Lesmo and back on the power. 4th gear into 5th gear, looking for the bridge and our turn-in point for this left-hander coming up. Flick the car in. Don't use any brakes. Get back on the power and manage the car on the exit. Managing the car on the exit is key to a quick lap. Again, you don't want too much oversteer or you will lose time. Braking between those two braking markers on the right hand side, down to 3rd. Careful managing the car through the parabolica. You want a little bit of oversteer, not as much as I had there. Getting back on the power early, and once again managing the rear end of the car. The more sideways you go, the less acceleration you get, and you want the most acceleration you can possibly get, while of course getting the turn for the corner. And across the start finish line we will go for a 1 minute 44.475.
we are back. Right, so everybody has started pushing, getting along there. Let me just close that chat window so that it's out of the way. About a minute 40-second lap, so most will be starting their laps in just a minute. I'm currently on board with James Leach. So looking forward to seeing the Leaches tonight. They've usually brought quite the racing effort here. Let me double check. With all the Leaches, I sometimes miss who did which laps. So Renier being the fastest Leach and James Leach Jr. being the second one there. I'm not seeing Mr. Senior on my timing sheet. So hopefully we'll get some great battles from the Leaches there tonight. They usually bring quite the race to the front back there. As we wait for these first laps to land, I'm just keeping an eye on Renier here. He is really wringing the neck of the car, and I think this might be setting him up for quite a decent for quite a decent laps. In the YouTube chat, I've got Jackie Jokers and Fridge Finlay. Fridge, hello there. Well, nice to have met you over the weekend. And Jackie, welcome to the chat as well. Always great seeing some people bringing the conversation and just having a good time with us here. Renier getting slightly out of shape there. I think that it might have kept the lap validated. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just sure that this is not going to be the best exit. He would have lost quite a bit of time as he was hesitating on the throttle there. So Renier will be crossing the finish line first, and he does at 1:47.2. I am certain, yeah, already James Leach has beat that. Christy Simon has put himself well up there. Richard has done a 1:45. And Nick bumps into a 44.8 there, so he's the first to join into the go sub 45s. I am very sure we'll be seeing Richard up there as well. Christy surprising me a little bit here. He's been expressed a bit of frustration to me about these cars, but he's keeping at it, and somehow it's showing. That's a spectacular time from Christy. Jackie, in terms of training, there are some options available. You can find more details on the SimRace SA Discord. If you want to get more insight, what happened to my nice shortcut? If you want to get more insight on that, you can head on over to www.simracesa.co.za. I'm putting up the URL right now. Ooh, I need to move that up a bit in the future. You'll find a link to our Discord server. There's loads of people there that will either be able to help you out, or you'll be able to look at our yellow pages to find some information on who does training and can provide you with some training. That said, Ryan did ask me to tell people about our ad hoc race this Wednesday, so in 2 days' time. It'll be on the race room with one of the I think it's one of the legendary Formula 1 cars. I can't remember which one had been chosen. I'm quickly looking for you to find out. That might be a very good race to come and join in, have some fun. Excuse me. So this Wednesday's race will be, and it kicks off at around the usual time. It's just 7:45 South African Standard Time, and it's the Formula RR90. There's a V12, a V10, and a V8. I suspect people might be voting for which one they'd prefer. And as it stands, there's quite a few interesting tracks. Race Room has free content for the next few days, so we're trying to just touch on it and see what happens. Like, do people enjoy that as well? Maybe there's a good alternative there. Right, Christy. Ooh, Nick already 2 seconds ahead of everybody there. I want to quickly hop over to Nick. And I'm trying to quickly see what is his time. So Nick has done a 1:44.450. Not sure why he was showing us 2 seconds quicker. Maybe, oh, okay, my timing tower was looking at his best lap time. Oh, sorry, at his best sector. He might be quite a bit quicker in one of the sectors compared to Christy. So Christy is wringing the neck. He's not quite been able to bring that back. I'm gonna quickly hop over to him. Christy's, oh, he's right on his delta. I think he is pushing right at the edge of what he's done previously. It does look like he's gotten a really good exit there, but unfortunately he bumps into the barrier there. Hopefully he can keep it out of the barrier in the future. He does disconnect. Hopefully that's just a small issue. Richard is almost 1.5 tenths up on his delta, coming underneath the bridge there now. He'll be coming up to where we nowadays know the Ascari chicane. No chicane to be found, just a nice long left-hander. Manage it carefully. I was a little bit worried that Escom might be messing about with people's races. Christy is back, I see. But just, oh, Richard just missing out on his delta, but he's staying on the bubble. Maybe he can carry a bit more speed here through Parabolica. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be quite enough. He does have another lap that he can try and use for that. Let's see, who else can we go and look at? Sean Veveje. He was up on his delta, but suddenly lost quite a bit. Maybe he's hoping to start a new lap. Ooh, he doesn't manage to slow it down quite enough. And he's parked up. Let's see who else. Bjorn Buchner still has about 30 seconds, so maybe he can also start another hot lap. Someone is rejoining the track there. Looks like they're fine right now. So Bjorn, 10 seconds. Ooh, this might be tight. And he's going to start a new lap with 5 seconds on the clock. And he immediately bumps to the pits. He's done what he wanted to do. He is P4 right now. James Leach is still out. He's trying to finish his last lap, although okay, that is time. And in that case, I'm going to say I'll see everybody in just a moment. We'll go for a quick ad break, and hopefully we'll be back when the grid is up. Alrighty, we are back. We are waiting right now for the next session to kick off. We'll be bumping to the grids in just a moment. Everybody has qualified, so Nick's sitting on pole, Christy on P2 right next to him, and they will start 3 abreast, so that puts Richard on the front row as well. I'm going to quickly try and target Richard there. Let's find a good TV camera. I think this should suffice. And I'm actually going to focus on Christy because Richard is joining us from the UK, so his car is just bouncing around ever so slightly, but that's not a problem. We have seen that racing from Europe and the UK is fine. It's just these small niggles that happen when the cars are stationary. 17 seconds to go. Hopefully everybody has loaded their setups, made sure that they've got enough fuel. Lights are showing. We've got, come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. Drop the clutch and away they go. Nick pulling away almost instantly. Christy getting a really decent start, but Richard struggling to get away. He is being overtaken by whoever was P4 and 5. So P4 would have been Bjorn, and P5 was Renier Leach. So Renier up into 3rd position now, with followed closely by Bjorn and Richard. Let's try and find a good camera angle, not that one. Want to just hop on board here with Christy. He's taking it very slow. Renier Leach has managed to pip him and get him take second position from him. Christy getting slightly overexcited on the throttle there, but he keeps it going nicely. Renier looking like he's trying to take this fight to Nick. Let's go and look at that. In the background, James Leach and Richard swapping places. So Richard really struggling off the line there, trying to just keep his head down and find his rhythm. These cars really liking it when you chuck them sideways. Not too much, just enough. James managing to stay less than a second behind Nick there. Nick has kind of run away with this championship from a driver's perspective if he's not already locked it down. But I'm thinking tonight Renier might be trying really hard to bring this fight. Ooh, he's closing down this gap. It's all gonna come down to this next corner. Curve Grande. So in this version, James Leach running very, very wide there. I don't think he's going to be able to recover from that. I want to hop back quickly. I don't want to punish him. He does manage to rejoin, hopefully not with too much damage. I can't see any cracking on his window, so maybe it's just a little bit of a scraping there on the barrier, and it would have been fine. Back up at the front, Renier starting to, well, trying his best to close up that gap. I'm keeping my eye out on Richard there as well, on the back of Franco Erasmus. James Leach managing an overtake on Sean, and on Peter Geldenhuis, apologies. Peter, an old hand at this. He's had many races with us, and he's shown that he can stay level-headed under a lot of pressure. So maybe he's not feeling too pressurized. He's just biding his time, trying to hold on there. Nick just dipping a wheel onto the grass there. Does look like he managed to keep it clean. Up ahead, Franco Erasmus. He is getting starting to sniff at Christy Simon. Christy has done very well for himself tonight. He's currently running 3rd. These long straights allowing the cars to really build up quite a bit of speed. Seems like all of my UI items are all over the place. Just moving the track map so that it's visible behind Abba. In terms of racing with us, this is the penultimate round of the simLEGENDS series. Next week we are kicking off with the last round of the 2022.1 season. Maybe it's a little bit late to join now. If, however, you do still feel you want to take part in these last races, as I mentioned previously, you can head on over to simracesa.co.za. Find the sign up links there, submit it. We as our admin team might ask and confirm if you are still keen to definitely race for us. We do, however, ask for a minimum donation of 150 Rand to our charity of choice, this season still being Abba. And thus far, we have managed to raise 20... I've got the number somewhere else. I'll grab that in a moment. We have managed to raise 27,130 Rand, knowing that each 20,000 rands will go towards helping one baby find an adoptive parent. So this is a really good cause. One of the main reasons I am involved with SimRace SA is this focus. It's a great focus in my opinion. But however, we will be starting to announce our plans for next season. Some relatively big changes, not big as in sweeping changes, but some exciting changes to come. We are excited to see what will happen, and hopefully it'll bring some awesome racing to the people. Right, so closest gap at the moment, it's between James Leach and Bjorn Buchner and Renier Leach and Nick Hodgson. I'll hop back to James and Bjorn. James trying to do a bit of a drive back here tonight. And I'm actually seeing Nick in the waiting room there. I'm wondering if he was wanting to chat while racing. I'm sure that wasn't the case. Maybe he just joined thinking or accidentally clicked there. But otherwise, I'll maybe check in with him for the last race. He is most certainly enjoying it tonight. James closing that gap to Bjorn by quite a bit now. Maybe he's going to try and make a move under braking. And he does swing out. Hopefully get that car slowed down. He's wide onto the grass, into the gravel. That is unfortunately not how you make an overtake. Stick up ahead. Francois Erasmus and Christy Simon swapping places, but Christy is still right all over the back of Francois. They're three abreast with Richard next to smelling blood as well. Francois not quite getting the drive out of Parabolica that he would have wanted, and that's cost him a place now. Christy on the outside, he's going to have to be careful with the two drivers on the inside there. Christy takes back second, followed by Richard, and Francois has to go back into fourth position. Yo, some exciting racing here. All of the drivers keeping it nice and clean though, so kudos to that. Ooh, and I probably spoke too soon. What exactly happened there? Let's have a quick look on my instant replay. And this is not the replay that I was asking for. Unfortunately, I don't have a replay for that. Okay, Christy Simon has managed to keep going. Richard is down into 8th. Hopefully he can make a bit of a recovery drive back. There is still 21 minutes left. And up ahead, Mr. Nick Hodgson has pulled a almost 4 second gap now. The battling between Christy, Bjorn, Christy, Francois and Richard has built up a bit of a gap. And it seems that Renier might have had a bit of an issue as well that I missed, so he's not all over the back of Nick anymore. Nick seems like he's just taking it easy, taking things comfortable. He knows that he doesn't have to over push the car and risk going off with the barriers being so close to the edge of the track. Renier, as I mentioned, looking like he's on a bit of a drive back. I want to hop to an onboard here. This is the one. So his windshield is still fine. I don't think his steering is straight, so he's not got any suspension damage or too much aero damage. I think everything will be fine for him. He'll need to just focus on getting it done. Ooh, just managing the rear end of that car there. Just look at how sideways these cars can go. In the background there, Richard and Pieter Geldenhuys switching places. Let's try and switch to Pieter Geldenhuys. He's still relatively close, although I think Richard might be pulling a gap there. Up ahead, Renier Leach right on the back of Bjorn. You can see them almost side by side. Who has the better run here? Renier looking like he's in the tow. He pulls out, going for the inside line, under braking. Can he slow it down and get it turned through? These cars having heaps of understeer on the brakes. You have to be back on the throttle relatively early to try and get the rear to step out. Ooh, Renier pushing track limits extremely fine there. And who's that? I think that was James Leach just dipping a wheel onto the grass. But they all keep going, so Renier Leach takes back 4th position, and now he's all over the back of Christy Simon. Renier is smelling blood, takes the inside line into Curve Grande. Can he keep it clean through here as well? Swapping places. Christy has to fall in behind Renier. And something that I wanted to mention about the charities to date, since we have, well, in the last 2 years, we have managed to raise more than 128,000 Rand for various charities. So really this is a great initiative. But if you feel that you want to take some time off, wait for the next 4 weeks to roll by, then we'll be kicking off the next season, and I'm excited to see what's coming. Right, so Renier is now on the hunt for Francois. Up ahead, Nick is taking it relatively easy. He's maybe wanting for a bit of racing, so he's sandbagging a bit. I don't know Nick as one to be sandbagging, but ooh, dipping a wheel onto the grass there. I'm now not so sure if that is sandbagging. Maybe he's just not done enough laps to be quite comfortable on this track. Francois Erasmus has a really good run. He might be able to take the run. I do see Christy Simon has dropped back behind Renier Leach, but I'm going to stick here because Francois might be able to try and grab the first P1 from Nick here. Francois just showing his nose there on the outside, maybe the inside. Which one will he go for? He's going for a move under braking. Nick is very aggressive, taking almost a regular line comfortably. Let's hop back to Christy Simon. He is alongside James Leach there for a moment. And they're also right on the tail of Bjorn Buchner, so this is a three-way battle for 4th position. Ooh, cars getting very, very close to one another. James Leach just having to back out of it there. Rainier Leach also needs to be careful there. He was very sideways up in front there. On his drive back, he'll need to be aware of people behind him, and small mistakes can end up costing you dearly. James Leach side by side with Bjorn Buchner. Bjorn dipping a wheel onto the grass there. He has to fall in line back, but he's showing his nose on the inside, trying to go for a move into a Parabolica. Ooh, someone's off into the grass. They're both off into the grass, and Christy Simon is just going to smile and wave, rolling past them onto the main straight. That's going to cost them dearly. Bridge, I think I might agree with you there. Nick needing a tiny bit of ballast, although depending on where that ballast is loaded up, he might just gain a bit more of an advantage. I think that was James Leach running quite wide. We've seen him doing that earlier. Oh no, that was Bjorn Buchner making the mistake. Unfortunate. Okay, back to Richard, who is now right on the tail of Bjorn Buchner. Inside line, trying to just manage that rear end of the car. Not quite able to capitalize yet. Ooh, Richard, this might be a moment to try and make a move. Although it looks like he's just biding his time, trying to sit in the toe, gain some advantage and get a good drive out here. These cars can make it a little bit difficult to make a move stick under braking. Ooh, Richard just not quite able to slow it down enough. Bjorn does get back onto the track and keeps it going. I'm trying to... Richard is waiting for Bjorn. That is the type of racing we want to see. Okay, so Richard is going to be resuming this hunt very soon. But in the meanwhile, I'll try and... Ooh, this is likely going to be the closest battle for quite some time. Everybody looks like they've settled into a position. Nick up in front. Ooh, and as I switch to him, he was up on his Delta, but he was throwing the car around the corner there, around Lesmo 1. And now it's Lesmo 2. On that run to the bridge, up to Ascari. I'm not sure if it's called Ascari in this version of the track. No, it is not. It's the Curva del Via... Ooh, I'm gonna butcher this. Vialone. Ooh, Nick running very wide. There, he does manage to keep it together. That's not... Ooh, and Francois Erasmus following him. Francois definitely trying to work hard at getting this gap down. But mistakes like that is only gonna cost you more time, unfortunately. Okay, so Francois is not able to close that gap just yet. I'm looking back to James Leach. Ooh, I heard some brakes squealing somewhere. It's looking... Ooh. Oh no! Nick has lost it! Nick has spun! He's lost 2 positions. Nick has made a big mistake there. This is not very much a characteristic move from him. I know Nick as a driver to be very consistent and very precise with his inputs. Not one to be spinning, especially in these cars. But we might just have a bit of a drive back here. So Christy all over the back of Nick, who's all over the back of Renier Leach. Renier is going to be sweating a bit now. This is his opportunity to stay ahead. He was trying to make the move earlier, but unfortunately made a mistake which dropped him back a few places, and he's been battling his way back to the front. They do have to still catch Franco Erasmus, who is 4 seconds up the road, which is quite a bit of time. Nick Christ. Oh, and James Leach is also in the mix there with Christy Simon. I'll keep an eye out in the background there, but right now Nick is going to be going at it with Renier. Renier running a very defensive line there. I think he knows that Nick managed a decent drive. There's still a pretty big gap, but at this speed it's not that much in terms of time. Yeah, that's half a second. I don't think it's going to be enough for Nick to be able to make a move into Curve Grande. But it might just be enough to try and close that gap ever so slightly and manage the car. Christy running a little bit wide there in the background. Sorry, not Christy. James Leach running a little bit wide in the background. Because Christy is all over the back of him. I think they must have switched places while I wasn't looking. But up ahead, Nick trying all over the back of Renier there. Oh, Renier hits the barrier. And this is the problem. Mistakes so small can cost you so dearly. Renier did manage to get back and going ahead of James. He's going to be kicking himself over that because it's now allowing James to have a sniff. And I'm sure Christy Simon is just hanging back here, looking at the situation, contemplating and thinking, let them race, maybe there will be something for me to capitalize on. But no, I don't want you to do that. Race hard. We can see that this is going to be an exciting race in the last few minutes. James and Renier side by side into Curve Grande. What's happening there? They've both collided and they've gone off. And this is the second time Christy is benefiting from the collision of 2 people ahead of him in Parabolica. So my call was the wrong one to make. Christy showing patience can be rewarded. Right. Nick is giving all he can to try and get that gap ahead of him down. Renier and James switching places. I'm not sure if that is them doing the gentlemanly thing. Woo, slightly wide there. Renier running very wide, and he does end up hitting the barrier there. That is not what you want to do. He spins the car around. Ooh, no, that is gonna cost him quite a bit. Right, so James up ahead. I'm not gonna broadcast Renier's pain and suffering. There is another race. I'm sure he's going to be bringing that fight to the front again. But for the time being, James back in the running. He's now going to be focusing on closing that gap to Christy. Christy will be watching his mirrors now, running on a podium position there. And Nick has already managed to close this gap down to 2.5 seconds, less than 2.5 seconds. Franco will be under pressure in just a moment. I do want to see what their differences in lap times are. I will have a look in just a moment. Nick now getting that gap down to less than a second. I'm holding my breath. 6.5 minutes to go. By my calculation, that should be around 4 laps. I might be slightly off, but I think that's a rough guesstimate. Nick really out for blood now. He's wanting to make up for that mistake that he's made earlier. Ooh, almost thought Francois might be pushing his luck a bit there, but they're not side by side just yet. Francois just clipping the inside of the grass there. That's going to send him almost too wide. I'm not sure if he's gotten the drive that he needs. That gap is coming down ever so slightly. I don't think it's going to be enough for Nick to be able to make a move under braking, but Nick has shown he's got the slow in, fast out mentality down to a science. Unless he makes a mistake. But I don't think that was the case right now. He's managed the rear there really well. That said, Francois has done the same. This gap isn't quite closing enough just yet. And it's really difficult to send it up on the inside. If you're not on the brakes hard enough, you can easily veer off track and lose out with the close the barrier so close to the edge of the track. Francois still ahead into turn 1. But Nick is keeping a very tight line around the apex there. He's back on full throttle. On their way to Lesmo 1. This left kink just an ever so slightly lift. Francois on the brakes. Lesmo 1 running a bit of a defensive line. Nick taking a slightly different line. Maybe he's looking for the cutback. That might give him a really good run into Lesmo 2. Ultimately not going to be enough to get alongside, but it does give him the momentum to try and make this overtake on the next straight. Not quite enough though. Francois again clipping the inside of the grass. They're using it almost as a curb to get that car rotated. Nick now even closer, and he does have a bit of speed compared to Francois. He is bringing down the gap. Francois taking the inside line. They go into the braking zone. Francois keeping it tidy. He's locking up ever so slightly, but he is ahead. Nick going for the cutback there. I think he's getting a really good drive here. Yes, they're side by side. Nick is edging ahead. Who's gonna have the top end now? Nick just not quite yet alongside Francois. Francois having managed an excellent drive out of Parabolica there, but Nick now has the inside line for Curve Grande, and that means Francois will have to yield. He can't just dive back to the apex, and he is still ahead though. Nick is giving it almost as everything from what I can see, or at least everything that he can, but he's not able to give an answer to Francois' defense here. Again, Francois taking a very defensive line, but he's just parking that on the apex, making it difficult for Nick to accelerate out there. Ooh, Francois goes and hits the barriers. Ooh, I think they almost touched. Hopping back to Francois. Francois getting a really decent drive there. He's managed the rear slightly better. But Nick is up ahead. He's taken back P1. I am sure Francois is not going to take this lying down though. He's showing his nose, but not quite committing to a move just yet. Keeping it tight. Nick running slightly wide there. They're both maintaining decent pace. Nick this time deciding to run a defensive line to Parabolica, forcing Francois to try and make the move stick around the outside. But as we saw with Nick, this might give Francois the drive if he can land a successful cutback maneuver there. Both of them getting a decent drive, though. It's going to come down to the main straight. We have 1 minute and 25 seconds left, so they'll be starting this final lap as they cross the finish line about now. Ooh, look at how close that is. Francois just not quite close enough, though, to try and make the overtake. Is he? He's going for the inside move. There he is up ahead. Ooh, I need to calm down. Curve Grande, here I come. Make the overtake stick, though. Be careful of Nick on the rear there. He's going for that cutback maneuver, having shown that it can work previously. Not quite able to make it stick. Francois takes the inside line of this left-hand kink. They're going into Lesmo 1 side by side. Stupid. Yes, okay, Nick Stoll trying to keep things very tight and tidy. Francois up ahead. Nick still has to follow him. Can Francois keep this clean and tidy? Francois getting back on the power. He is still ahead by 0.2 of a second. I see Richard having to pit. Maybe he's run out of fuel. There is still one more race for him to make a difference. And Nick is up ahead. This is the last moment now, because we are finishing this last lap. Francois trying his everything. Nick running a very defensive line. Ooh. Francois having gotten on the throttle just after Nick. I don't think this is going to be enough, but it's going to be very tight. Oh, and Francois has to shift a bit late there. Oh, this was such a tight race. Nick bringing home the win. Francois in P2. Christie cruising it home for a comfortable 3rd position. James Leach bringing home 4th. Bjorn Buchner bringing home 5th position. Ranier Leach, bit of a disappointing race for him tonight. 6th position. Sean, he'll be bringing home 7th. Richard is in the pits. He might have to go and do another lap if he wants to finish the race. Not sure. Oh, he's maybe still waiting for fuel. We now start seeing drivers disconnecting and getting ready for the next race. So Sean bringing home 7th. Patrick Lingley in the dirt at Parabolica. And Peter Geldenhuis, he's bringing home 10th position. Ooh, that's a very big slide. So Patrick, bring it home. In the meanwhile, I am going to go to an air break. I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, we are back. I'm on board again with Richard right now, but I can quickly go and fix that. Wow, what an exciting finish to that race. I've had a quick chat with Nick. He said that he is quite keen to sit in and chat, but he is actually planning on starting from the back. So I'm rather gonna leave him, because this race gets way too exciting when cars are going at it. I was a little bit skeptical, a little bit skeptical about how close the racing can be on this track, but they have surpassed my expectations right now. While we are waiting, so everybody has joined. I need to quickly count how many people. Yes, everybody has joined for race 2. We have a minute and 10 seconds left before the qualifying session will kick off. Yo, I'm just coming off the intensity of that race. That was an absolutely amazing finish at the end. In that case, Fridge, I'm gonna bring him in at least for quali. Hello.
Hello, Sas.
Nick, wow. I'm not gonna do your interview right now, but wow.
Oh dear, I made a mistake.
So you did mention to me you're thinking of starting from the back.
Yeah, I'll probably just do a representative time just to actually complete qualifying, but start towards the back of the grid and see if I can work my way through. Fun having a little bit of a dice at Monza in these cars.
Yeah, it actually really surprised me how good the racing can be in these cars on this layout. I'm actually jealous. I want to go and try this tonight.
What's actually surprised me the most is how much slipstream you get in these cars. It's almost the most of any vehicle I've ever experienced. It's quite crazy. You only need to be about 9/10, so just under a second behind someone to start to feel the slipstream. And yeah, it really boosts the car along. So yeah, if you can be close-ish behind someone, you can then get a good run on them and hopefully go wheel to wheel through some of the corners.
I mean, you guys have shown that it is very possible to go wheel to wheel. I was just closing my eyes for moments there, but wow, that was an absolute astonishing last few laps to watch right now. And it's not just up in front, up and down the field. I've seen some good racing, little bit of taps here and there, but that is kind of to be expected. And I've seen some people gain quite a bit from drivers going off at Parabolica.
Yeah, definitely. And look, Parabolica is where you got to really watch out. That's if you get the braking wrong for that corner, you're in the gravel, and then it's a real problem. Obviously, the Lesmos as well, they are difficult, and that's of course where I got it wrong. I missed a gear, and then I was in big trouble. But yeah, I went from 4th to 3rd, and I didn't go into 3rd. So yeah, it was very problematic. But
not enough clutch usage, I think.
Exactly. I just didn't press the clutch enough. But anyway, yeah, no, they're good fun cars. You just got to watch out in the braking zone, because obviously the brakes are quite rubbish.
Basically cardboard discs.
Yes, exactly. Drums though, cardboard drums. So yeah, they are not great. So you just got to watch out in the braking zone. And if you just give some respect in the braking zone, generally what you can do is the guy defending will obviously start low and end up high, and you can start high and end up low, and then you can, have a little bit of a dice. It's quite good fun.
Okay, so everybody is out and about. I think you're the only one still in the pits, and you've just left.
Yeah, I thought let me do a nice lap. This track is so well done. I mean, obviously it's a Kunos track. It's the DLC, I think. And of course you can do the big banking if you want to. There's a sort of full layout, but that takes about 2.5 3 minutes to get around. And this obviously people will be a lot more familiar with. Technically, this is the road course.
Yes.
Yeah, it's obviously we all know the layout, but it's really good fun in these cars, and it allows you to stretch their legs for more of the lap. I mean, we've seen places like Feldbergring and stuff where the track's really long, but there is, you know, fast bits, but
it's a very technical track. You're not really giving it your all and seeing what these cars can do. Speaking of, what are the top speeds you've been reaching? I've forgotten to turn on my dial that shows speeds.
I will tell you, it's actually not as fast as you would imagine. I've not geared the car to be massively fast. I've gone kind of a click up from where Silverstone was. But you're doing about 250, maybe 260 k's an hour.
Yeah, but you're basically in a coffin on wheels then.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing 262 going into parabolic, and I've got it wrong, so I'm now in the gravel. But you're doing about 250, 260. And yeah, they very. The thing is, you'll have a fast sweeping corner coming up as soon as you've done the straight part, and you know there's no downforce, so you got to slow down for those.
You have to back out of it a bit and manage the car a bit.
Yeah, you're not hitting VMAX too much, so yeah, what you actually need really is good acceleration in sort of third and fourth gear. That's what I was really looking for when doing a few tweaks, and particularly these fast corners. When you're coming out of them, what you want to be doing is pointing as straight as possible to get the best drive out of the corner as possible to maximize your acceleration, because I think these cars have open diffs, so you just end up you're spinning the wheels a lot, which you know you can, or maybe it's a solid act, I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up, but you know, it helps you get sideways, but that doesn't then propel you down the track at all, which is what you need here at Monza. And, you know, a much twistier track, the sideways stuff helps you get around the corner and you go quicker, but here be as straight as possible, really.
Okay, I see some times up there. Richard has already posted a low 45 there. Oh no, sorry, a high 45.
What happened to Richard in the first race?
Now I'm trying to remember. I think he just got swallowed up in turn on the full away there. He didn't get a good start, and that allowed Bjorn and Renier Leach to sneak in front of him, and he had a bit of an issue trying to battle his way back. But I do think he still. Oh, and then I think ultimately he ran out of fuel at the end.
No.
He had to go back to the pits.
Yeah, this track is actually quite fuel sensitive. So far, I've found fuel not to be an issue at all, but because you're doing high speeds for so much of the lap, you're actually you can gain time in qualifying by running low fuel.
Right, so Christie is 1.5 seconds up on his delta. He actually surprised me a bit tonight with his qualifying time there.
Yeah, he was really quick.
He spent a bit of time there, it seemed, with practice. Really did well. And under Raystrom, he still managed to sub 46. So that's a pretty decent lap time. Okay, yeah, it looks like Richard ended up finishing in 8th position for the last race.
And of course, Renier Leach had a lot of pace to start the last race. So that was a nice little battle that we had to begin the third race.
He did end up running into a barrier, it seemed, and then he tried to bring the battle back to the front, and he was battling with everybody at some stage. Ooh, James popping up into P1 now. I've just switched to Sean as well, so he's 2 seconds up on his delta, although I don't have a time for him on the tower just yet. Three minutes to go. And we've only got 6 drivers with a valid time. Sean will be crossing the finish line now, and he's invalidated his lap somewhere, so he has to start again. Patrick Lingley, one of the other drivers, not yet with a valid lap. He crosses the finish line. Oh, and now all of my times start popping up. So Pieter Geldenhuys in P7, Sean Beveje in P8, and Patrick Lingley in P9. And I think you are only 10 drivers tonight, Nick. So now you have a target, a lap time to go and set.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes left of of qualifying.
That's enough for an out lap and a hot lap. I have previously played around with the layout that has the embankments, and these cars, they go dangerously fast. I now understand why that section of the track is not used anymore.
Yeah, and your tire pressures go absolutely
Oh,
through,
yes,
through
yes.
that embankment. It's crazy how much force is put on them.
So Sean just managing to increase his sector 2 time by 1.5 seconds. But he's lost a bit of time. He's only 4 tenths up right now. I'm not sure if that's going to be quite enough to get him ahead of Pieter Geldenhuys. I can't remember what his lap time is. And my timing tower is only showing deltas. But he crosses the finish line 4 tenths up. And that bumps him up ahead of Pieter Geldenhuys with a 46.8. And I'm catching the tail end of your lap now, Nick. You've come out of it by quite a bit.
Yeah.
That gives you a 52. So you are most definitely starting from the back, and you'll be battling your way through all of the traffic. I am curious to see what James Leach can do out in front. He's been very, very quick in these cars tonight. And not having to sit behind someone, that has a bit of it plays a bit of a different role there.
Yeah, it definitely gives you an advantage if you can build a little bit of a gap. You can just concentrate on your own driving, on your own lap times, not have to worry about anybody dive bombing you, anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, definitely an advantage if you can get yourself a couple of seconds gap. Just concentrate on your driving.
Ooh, Christie has gone off at turn 1, so he's not able to quite match the lap time he did in the first race. He did a 45.1, so he's 4 tenths off of that. And it does look like there's a bit of an art to starting this race.
What, being pretty wide, or just generally getting the car going?
Getting the car going. You got quite a decent start there. Christie got a okay start, and Richard really struggled getting off the line.
Yeah, so what I've been finding with this car is you don't rev it too much. You want to give it enough that just so you don't bog down, and you can get launched in first gear, because if you're not careful you could just spin up the rear wheels and you go nowhere. So it's definitely a little bit of a balancing act there.
Right, so James Leach, Richard, Bjorn Christie and Renier Leach will take the front 2 rows. Franco Erasmus, Sean Viveje, Peter Geldenhuys on row 3, and yourself and Patrick Lingley on row 4. Gonna be exciting to see what happens. I'm gonna go for a quick ad break. We'll be back hopefully close to when everybody bumps to pits. Right, lights are on. Well, not on. Lights are displaying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, everybody drops the clutch and away they go. Christy getting a really good start. They're up in front, and James not getting a great start, and that's causing Christy to have to pull back a bit. But everybody is going movement all over the field on my timing tower. Richard now up in front, Bjorn Buchner in second, followed closely by Renier and James Leach. It's all to play for right now. Nick is already up into 7th.
Ooh, someone's on the grass. This is going to be interesting. Into Lesmos. Oh.
Ooh, Franco Erasmus. No, who was that? James Leach. Oh, and he went into the barrier in front of Renier Leach, who lost. They both ended up losing positions there. Oh, and that is a tough one when you're off on the inside on the grass. There's just no way to slow the car down and successfully get out of the way. Hopefully the two leeches can get back going and they're not carrying too much damage. I'm not even gonna try and
leech take out another leech. Is that what happened?
Yes, that is exactly what happened. So I think it was. I'll have to check in a moment.
Like to be
someone up ahead. Franco Erasmus.
Parting of the sea there.
Franco Erasmus and Christy Simon coming together, but someone else going off. I think that was... who was that? Bjorn Buchner went off.
Yeah, so Bjorn went off up ahead on his own. And then those two came together, kind of trying not to follow him and also make up positions.
I'm feeling like I've spoken too soon about the close racing. It's tough now that everybody has gained the confidence. This new race start, the tires aren't warmed up yet. You're heavy with fuel. Your muscle memory is now all over the place if you're not ready to react accordingly.
Yeah, definitely.
Just hopping back to Christy Simon, who has managed to make a move on Peter Geldenhuys. But that does put him on a very defensive line, and Christy runs wide, slightly touches the barrier a few times. He gets back going, and he's joined by Franco Erasmus on the inside of Lesmo 2. Christy keeping it relatively clean and ahead. Peter Geldenhuys losing it really badly, so that gives Francois and Christy a bit of a reprise, but they're side by side heading on their way to Ascari. What is that corner actually called? I'm too afraid to pronounce it. I want to add a Leone there, but there's no I.
Yeah, I didn't even attempt it in my my lap guide video because I'm used to it being a Scary chicane, and it just isn't.
Right, so three-way battle for P5. Franco, Erasmus, Sean Viveja, and Christy Simon. Christy swapping places with Franco, who's on the inside of Parabolica. Does Christy get the drive out? I've seen all night how the cutback can be quite powerful. The slow in, fast out mentality showing. But Sean is also licking his lips, sitting in the toe of Christy, who's sitting in the toe of Francois.
Yeah, watch out for that toe. It is strong.
Francois running defensive to Curve Grande. Don't think Christy's showing his nose on the inside. Can he hopefully slow the car down in time? Ooh, he's almost on the edge of the grass there, but he doesn't make the move quite stick. It does give him a really good run out of Curve Grande, but he's going to have to fall back in line with Francois. Into Lesmo 1, Christy going again for the inside line. Francois running very wide, Christy keeping it nice and tight. Richard up ahead of you there, 3.3 seconds. He's giving you a bit of work to do there, Nick.
Yeah, he's doing really good lap times. If he keeps up this pace, I don't know if I'll be able to catch him in 25 minutes.
I love the flames out of the exhaust as everybody slows down and shifts down.
Well, this race between Richard and I was probably going to be about who doesn't make a mistake.
And you've shown that you are human, so...
Very much so.
You were about 3/10 quicker than him on that lap though, so... Still a decent amount of time to make up, although I think your battle is going to be the interesting one to watch. Christie's still on the tail of Francois there, not quite able to close down the gap into Curve Grande. Ooh, Christie going very onto the grass. Can he get it back? Yes, he does before Lesmo. Ooh, but he does clatter it into the barrier there. That is unfortunate, and it looks like he's got some bad suspension damage right now. So that has meant that Francois was backing out and trying to avoid Christie, and it's put Sean Viveja right on his tail. Renier Leach dropping back a place there behind Patrick Lingley. Not sure what exactly happened there. Christie's car all over the place. He's really not easy to drive. Renier also with some damage, so he's managing the car a bit. In the YouTube chat, greetings from Germany, Morina. Welcome. Thanks for swinging by.
Come join us.
Yes. I've been punting SRSA for quite a bit, but I also know it's right at the end of the season, so not everybody might be keen on joining.
It's also a great time to sign up to the Discord. We've got lots of time for the next season, see what's going to be potting, who's who in the zoo. Usual thing.
Alright, so Nick, you're really starting to close this gap. I'm thinking Richard might be watching his mirrors right now. Sweating a bit, struggling a little bit to keep his laps consistent. I'm gonna keep an eye out there. You should have your own timing up, so I'm not gonna give you too much info.
Oh, I know I'm 1.7 behind him.
Okay, now if you know, then I can call stuff out like that out. I'm just not always sure how much information people show to themselves.
No, I have to have that up in VR because otherwise I don't know who's ahead of me. No, I just got a really good run onto that back straight through Ascari, whatever it's actually called.
I didn't see a name for the straight.
Well, up this Ascari chicane, whatever the old one is called.
The run to Parabolica. There's nothing that I can see. Quickly hopping over to James Leach. He is driving the wheels off of the car to try and get back to Bjorn Buchner. Oh, the suspension of this car moving about, looking like it's quite a bumpy track back in the day.
Yeah, Italians weren't afraid of a pothole back then. Although you should see it on that big banking, it looks like a blur.
Yes.
It's so fast.
Right, so James Leach looking like he's still in relatively good form. Car is looking decent and straight, so he can put down. Try to take the fight to Bjorn Buchner. There's about a 3-second gap between him and Bjorn. Well, every time these cars understeer, I need to hold my breath for a moment first until the driver gets back on the throttle. And those Patrons we drove in an ad hoc race the other day.
420s.
Yeah, the 420s. I was telling Ryan, I feel like they have a similar driving style to these cars, just less, like it's not as pronounced.
Correct. Yes.
I had quite a bit of fun with them on Barbagallo the other night. Same track we drove the TC cars on. It was such good fun. We decided to drive the track again for an ad hoc race.
Yeah, that's a good little track, that.
Peter Geldenhuys and Patrick Lingley switching places. Christy Simon currently struggling in P9. He is still nursing that car home. Knows that a pit stop can be extremely expensive here, so not always the best call to make.
Yeah, these cars weren't designed for pit stops, so it takes a very long time.
Although, now that I'm looking at his car, all of the damage is gone, so he actually did go and pit. Okay. Well, that might leave an opportunity for him still. He is about a minute behind, but he's shown that he's quite a bit faster than Patrick. Maybe he can bring that fight to P8, maybe P7. That would be a recovery drive of note. I'll keep an eye out for that. Meanwhile, Richard seems to be arriving on the back of Renier. And you're in close proximity, so this is now where the battle gets interesting.
Yeah, he was slower through the Lesmos that time around, so that's why I closed up slightly.
Managing traffic and making sure you get clean overtakes is the difficult bit here. From what I can see, Christie has already closed up 5 seconds on Patrick Lingley, so definitely has plenty of pace and hopefully enough laps in hand to make that up. 46.7 was his lap time. Renier 45.8, so Renier is also on a bit of a drive back. I'm wondering if Renier went to pit for damage. Yes, Renier also decided to go and fix up his car. Patrick Lingley and Pieter Geldenhuys side by side. Ooh, Pieter Geldenhuys lost it. Richard looking like he's just biding his time to get past Renier. Although, looking at the pace, they're both running the around about the same lap time. So maybe he's hoping Renier can get past Christie first before he tries to arrive on the back of him.
There's someone on the grass.
Who's on the grass? Can't see. That is... I have no idea.
I think that was Renier Leach.
Was that Renier Leach?
Shows him as half a second behind me now.
Very uncharacteristic of him, but okay. So Pieter Geldenhuys into the pits. He's not had a great race right now. Just jumping back to James Leach there. He's 1.8 seconds off of Bjorn Buchner. Not quite able to close this gap down, it seems. He might be a little bit frustrated, but he'll need to keep his head down and see what he can do there. Ooh, Nick, seeing you're closing down the gap quite a bit.
No, it's just my exit towards parabolic has been better the last couple of laps, and then each lap I've mucked up the parabolic.
I see you going almost fully sideways.
Just need to think about what I'm actually doing. Because parabolic is quite a tricky little corner.
I think that's the thing. It's not a little corner. Richard does seem to be a little bit hesitant. Ooh. He's looking a little bit hesitant to go and laps Christie up ahead. I'm not 100% sure why.
I think Christie might just be doing pretty good times.
Oh, I'm not trying to discount Christie's driving right now, but when I first jumped to Richard, he was really putting in some pace there, and he looked like a big threat. Well, not a big threat. It looked like he'll be able to catch Christie quite quickly. I do up ahead hear someone in the gravel. That might be Patrick Lingley. Otherwise, it's likely Pieter Geldenhuis. Yes, that was Pieter Geldenhuis that went into the gravel, and he's back into the pits. Tonight is just not his night in this race.
Should braked very early for the Parabolica.
Yo, he did.
Sailed past.
And he's not gotten a great run out of Parabolica, because that gap between you and him is just staying put. He's not going to have enough time to react for Curve Grande. And it's all about the acceleration. Richard definitely not letting you go there right now.
No, I got first Lesmo wrong as well. Second Lesmo was better. Got a decent drive out of it.
I'm seeing that gap rose ever so slightly. Ooh, Richard did not get a great corner there.
Yeah, that sort of flick has been where I've gained on him mostly. Decent Parabolica, so being able to pull off a little bit.
Richard just overcooking it out of Parabolica. It forces a shift to be a bit later, and that now means you've dropped him 2 seconds down the road.
Yeah, it was just that last lap that he
I'm seeing he made it past Chris. Well, you both made it past Christie. So was Christie ahead of you into Parabolica?
Yes, but he moved over very early
that
for us
might
both
be
to go through.
that might then be why Christie was braking a little early. He was maybe misreading the situation. Richard almost running into the barrier there at Lesmo 1.
Yeah, it's a very tricky corner then.
7.5 minutes on the clock. You've made your way all the way from the back up into the front. It's all about keeping your nose clean, not going off track unnecessarily.
Yeah, because as I've shown, it happens at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Right, so at present, Nick, you are finding yourself in P1, Richard is in P2, Bjorn in P3, James Leach in P4, and Francois Erasmus in P5. And it's a little bit surprising to me. Francois was really showing some pace there in the first race, and now it seems that he's struggling a little bit.
He's got a bit of damage, because yeah, he had huge pace. It was awesome to go wheel to wheel with him.
Trying to have a quick look. I'm not seeing damage on him. His steering is straight. There's no windscreen damage. 46.7. That's not quite the pace that he's capable of. John Beveje starting another lap now. He's had a quiet yet pretty decent race tonight. Managed to capitalize on others' misfortune and drive his way to P6. Last race he finished P7. Patrick pulling into the pits now, maybe to go and fix some damage. That's going to give Christy Simon a bit of a reprieve. Although 5 minutes left, that might also be for fuel, I'm not sure. Didn't look like Patrick had issues. He's rolling again. And Christy is where? Let's see. He is on... My diving thing is not selecting the right one. I think Christy is disconnected.
Are we ashamed?
Oh no, I had my auto director on, which didn't want to take me away. Right, so Christy is now 15 seconds off of Patrick Lingley. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. Let's see where you are. You have started another lap 20 seconds ago, 5 minutes. So that's 3 laps left there. Some back of the napkin guesstimate math. I might be slightly wrong in that. But plus minus.
Yeah, probably this lap and then 2 more.
Bjorn also has had a bit of a quiet race. There was the initial battle at the start, but he's kept his head down and he'll take home a well-deserved podium finish for this race if he keeps going at it the way he is doing currently, which I no doubt believe he can do. Ooh, in the background, someone running very, very wide there. I think that was Francois Erasmus. No, it was not. That must have been James Leach then. Yes. No. All over the field now, so it's difficult to tell who is where. Christy Simon struggling with Jidana 46.6, almost 44.7. I don't think that's going to be quite enough for him to be able to close that gap on Patrick Lingley. He'll most... Oh, and as I say that, Christy runs very wide through Curve Grande. Just keep it going. Final few laps. It's allowing Renier Leach now to close the gap. Renier runs wide as well. No, that was not Renier. That was someone else. Must have been Bjorn or James Leach. Someone getting it all wrong up ahead of you there. Ooh. Bit of a dangerous rejoin, but you managed to read that nicely.
Yeah, I had lots of space on the inside there. No problem at all. It's Patrick, I think.
Ah, yes, I think that was Patrick. Yes.
Okay, this will be the last lap.
only a few seconds to spare. Unless you can manage a 36.
Unlikely.
Bridge saying the second race should have been a reverse grid. I think that would have definitely made for quite an entertaining race.
Yeah, we used to run reverse grids for touring cars and
Yes.
a few things. The reason we stopped doing it is simply because we were running on the simracing.gp.
Yes,
platform.
simracing.gp.
Yeah,
We've
there's no way to do that automatically. So
yet.
yet.
We're still trying to get them to include that as a config option. It might have been that they've run into some testing issues here and there, or they've been so focused on putting including Automobilista 2 that they just haven't paid attention to some of the smaller feature requests that had come through. That said, we're not paying for the platform yet, so I'm not complaining. We're getting rock solid servers hosted in South Africa for free right now. So it's only once they start asking us for the monies that I'll have to really start pushing for some requests. So well done there, Nick. P1.
Thanks, Rob.
What a drive. Richard's gonna bring home P2. It's unfortunate that he seems that he cracked a bit under pressure there at the end. Bjorn bringing home a P3 finish. So he's had a really good drive as well. Francois, James Leach coming home in 4th, Francois Erasmus taking home 5th, Sean in 6th, Patrick Lingley in 7th, Christie not able to catch up to Patrick there in 8th, Renier in 9th position, might be a bit of a disappointing finish for him, and Pieter Geldenhuys bringing home 10th. Alrighty then, let's go see who else is available for intros.
You mean interviews?
Intros. I'm pressing a button that says intro and speaking. Alrighty. Nobody looking like they're willing to come join us for an interview yet. I mean, I've had you here already, so you've told me what went wrong, a bit of a misshift or a missed shift, and you just spun around.
Yeah, just missed the gear and couldn't make the corner, snuffed the barrier, and spun.
Okay. I switched to you just as you spun, so I thought that was just a spin because if you overcooked it a bit or something like that. I do have someone now. Mr. Bjorn Buchner, how are you?
Very, very, very well.
Well done on the finish there in what is it, race 2? Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's my first SimRace SA podium ever.
Oh, well
Congrats,
done, good sir.
Yeah, that was amazing. I just couldn't believe it. It's listening to Jim on the pit wall. I'm not supposed to probably in Maserati, but it's like the driver ahead is Hodgson. I'm like, what? That can't be it. Keep going. Driver ahead is Hodgson. Like, that's never happened. Just keep going. And then there's massive pressure from I think James Leach behind, but eventually I think he hit a wall. So that was it.
He tried to apply a bit too much pressure, and it ultimately meant you got the benefit of it.
One of us was gonna, yes.
How was the race start? I remember seeing things a little bit chaotic there, but
it was actually great. But it's always like you don't know where anyone is. Well, I mean, obviously you've got daily courses, but it's not sure. And then people always go for a bit of a lunge. So it was, I think it was going well until Parabolica, and then of course the moment was too big. But managed to
You,
go to
you,
my.
you
I
still-
Verstappen.
you still managed to get back on track and get it to
But,
P3. Well done there.
Minimize it. That was great. Awesome. Thanks very much, man.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. And
Yeah.
well
Thanks
done to Nick.
for
Funny
swinging.
stuff. Yeah. Pleasure. It's just amazing to see Nick from the back to basically second in one lap. That was brilliant.
Nick was doing Nick things, and he was chatting to me while he was doing so.
I can see you slow down a little bit there for once. Or one moment. So I thought maybe he was busy, maybe making coffee or something.
Yeah. Well done on your first podium. Hopefully we see
thank you,
you here
thanks.
again soon.
Yeah, I feel invigorated. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going now.
It's a great feeling when you get that.
Absolutely, great.
Okay.
Thanks,
Well,
bro. Cheers.
cheers. Okay, so that concludes round 5 of the 2022.1 season. We are now moving on to the SimTC Championship back in the Audis, this time on the full Vallelunga layout. Ooh, Vallelunga is one of my favorite little tracks. I don't know how you feel about it, Nick.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a really good one to race, I think, Sass. There's a few good overtaking opportunities from a push to pass perspective as well. So I think we could be in for a cracker with this, with the final race of the touring car season.
I'm looking forward to it very much. We'll then follow that up with the GP series. Let me quickly check the calendar. Last round will be on VIR, the full layout. VIR also a really nice track in my opinion. Then the Sim GT Championship will have its final round on Paul Ricard. Last season we had an amazing race on Paul Ricard in the dark. And for simLEGENDS, I now need to quickly double check what Ryan had communicated to me. We'll have the Eiffel Betonschleife. Not sure where is that located.
I'm actually not too sure, Sass. I don't remember.
I'm quickly checking. So that will be the final round of the Legends series. It's not telling me quickly now, but that will be the track. We were planning on running an old traditional Monaco. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get that on loaded up. Well, it hasn't been approved on SimGP just yet. So
Yes.
we have a backup plan where I'm looking forward to that. I've enjoyed commentating on the Legends series this season, and I'm looking forward to a cracker of a finish for this end of the season.
Yeah, me too. I think it could be really good.
Yeah. And yeah, if you want to start setting up for next season, or you still want to join the last few races, you can head on over to simracesa.co.za, find the details there, join the Discord server, get yourself set up so that you're ready for the action whenever you need to race with us. We have some good racing up and down the field. It's only the Legends series that we've now had like mostly one division, but we do run multiple divisions, so there should be a good challenge for people with all skill levels. That is it from me. I'm gonna say good night. Thanks for joining me in the booth, Nick.
Yep, thanks very much, guys.
And yeah, have a good night, everybody. We'll see you back next week.
Cheers all.